Why, welcome back there, blade fans. This old sword with you, and what you see before you is one of my first really valued and collectible knives from about 2.5 years ago. This, of course, my recent history, because I've been collecting knives for much longer than that. But this is a Bestech Swordfish. And this isn't the one you tuned in to see from the thumbnail, but I wanted to show you this one first because it's a beautiful blade, this one of D2, and it is labeled proudly Swordfish in the model number. It has one of the nicest blades, one of the most beautiful, long, tapering, kind of a spear point really, but we can call it a drop point, with a swedge at the top and about 3/4 flat ground from the edge up to that point. Two-tone handle, liner lock, smooth on bearings, and an almost deep carry pocket clip. We're going to set that one aside and bring out one that I just picked up that I've been wanting for quite a while, since I found out that the KnifeCenter did a special run of these through Bestech. Now this, we'll call it the Tuxedo Edition because the only two versions do have that black bolster with the white G10 handle. Black G10, white G10. Same blade that you just saw, except this guy is in S35VN. Isn't that cool? For 90 bucks, 89 and change from the KnifeCenter. And look what they did with the clip. Changed it to a deep carry and blacked it out. So we got a black clip on both of the versions from the KnifeCenter. We have almost a 4-inch blade on both of the versions. When I say both of the versions, the one I just showed you, the older model in D2. This comes again in two models, one with a blacked out blade and one with the satin blade. Notice it no longer says Swordfish on the side as the original did. But other than that, they are exactly the same knife. Better blade steel, deep carry pocket clip, and everything else pretty much the same. Liner setup is the same. Let's take a quick look at both clips and then we'll get into some measurements. So you can see where they changed that clip from an almost deep carry to a deep carry. They did use sort of flattened dome head screws. Too bad they didn't do a flat screw on it. Maybe they ran out that day. Who knows? But same fantastic blade. Let's put the old guy aside and deal with the new. Now, these aren't new. I forget when they came out. Sometime late last year, late 2021, these came out. And I said, wow, that's a great price and great materials, and I love the Swordfish anyway. So, great to have it again. 9 inches long. And almost a 4-inch blade. Call it like, gosh, I don't know, 3.95, something like that. With a cutting edge of like 3 7/8. And sort of a choil in here. I call it more of a sharpening choil than a finger choil, because it does have a pointy heel there. And what's going to happen is you jam your finger in there, you're going to get stuck. And you got a nice little hollow there skeletonized flipper tab. Okay, so those are the longitudinal measurements. How about the blade stock? And this should be the same as the original, 3.5 millimeters. And the handle thickness right in the middle, hefty 0.60. Didn't realize it. Fairly wide. We do have skeletonizing on the inside. We have a pretty long slot there. See if I can light that up for you just a bit. There it is. And also on the other side, it's kind of like two slots, one on each side. Well, let's get to the all-important weight. We don't want to recommend a pocket sinker for you. There we go. And there we go. All right, so 4.7 ounces. Not too bad for such a long knife. Great action on both of these. Virtually fall shut on bearings. Great Bestech quality as always. And to get S35VN in such a classic design for 90 bucks, hard to beat. Lanyard hole. It is unfortunately not a reversible clip. I don't think the original one was either. We have an easily disengaged liner, and yet locks up absolutely drum tight. Got a little bit of discoloration from oil on the blade there. See if I can pretty it up just a little bit. But you get a little oil on the blade. It's tough to get rid of, even with a microfiber cloth. Comes through with a pretty sharp edge. Probably could benefit from some stropping. It seems to be fairly thin, because we do have, as I said, a pretty high grind. And yet, look at that flat. We got a pretty good point too. Thin, but not frangibly thin, shall we say. Got a little short run of jimping on a thumb ramp there, but you can easily put your thumb on the back of the blade. I would say this qualifies as a good tactical EDC knife for sure. Again, fires with authority. Let's see if the original did. This has been worked in just a little bit more so you can see it drops a little more freely. I don't think I adjusted either of these to make them any looser. Again, exact same blade, but from a different steel. Now here's something interesting. I did a TS81, Tucson TS81, kind of a comparison and review showing you 3 different versions back a while ago. Here is the TS81 budget version in D2. No, it's in Sandvik, I think. Sandvik with a G10 two-tone handle. Now this is about a $40 knife as far as I know. One thing I wanted to show you. I want you just to have a lot of respect for Tucson's workmanship. Look at the crisp grind line on that. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's not quite as crisp on the Bestech. It isn't bad by any means, but you have such a sharp line on that grind and a really nice satin finish on that that I think is actually a tad bit better. This is a D2, my apologies. Not Sandvik, D2. This is a little bit lighter maybe, than the TS-81. But, I mean, workmanship on Bestechs is always, I find, really, really good. But I just really prefer the job they did on the Tucson on the grind. Slightly higher grind, okay, but crisp, really crisp. It's a subtle difference, but it's one that I notice. So I really do like knives that they grind very well. Sometimes they'll grind it and they'll tumble it a little bit, and that will soften the grind lines. But, you know, is it a big deal with this? Not at all. Just because I'm comparing blade designs, really, that I even noticed it. And just look at how similar these blade profiles are. Really interesting. And even the handles, right? Although we've got more of a curve in the TS-81 handle, we got a little wider handle here with a bit of a palm swell on the Swordfish. Comparing the Swordfish to the Rat 1, also a long knife. It's not quite as long as the Swordfish. And comparing the Swordfish to the Griptilian, you can see that we switch them around for perspective's sake anyway. You can see it's quite a bit longer than the Griptilian. So, you know, I'd call it a 4-inch knife, not legally so, but I'd call it a 4-inch knife. It's so close. And the cutting edge, where I live, they go by the cutting edge, so cutting edge has to be under 4 inches. This is well under 4 inches because of that choil in there. Well, take another look around. Beautiful grain to the G10 on both, and completely seamless feel. Nothing there, no differential where those two meet. Perfect job of design and machining. Nicely contoured, deep carry, as I said. T8, Bestech logo, and the only real heavy branding on it is right there, the Bestech symbol or logo. That could be a favorite EDC knife for a lot of you guys. Let me know what you think of the upgraded Swordfish by Bestech, courtesy of KnifeCenter. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'll be back with you soon. Take care.